Good evening, it's Antoinette Love Ransom, your Hollywood correspondent, and you know I'm bringing you the latest entertainment news. I have the multifaceted musician, artist, and model with me tonight, Carter Skyers. But before we go into the interview, I want you to take a look at this.
Can't believe you got me running. Every day to spend time with you. Yeah, I'll never keep you waiting. Can't believe the things I'm saying. Finding you is way overdue. You got me up on cloud nine, looking in their brown eyes. Every time that I touch you, candles in the daytime. I won't wait till nighttime to feel your body next to mine. Oh my, candles in the daytime. I won't wait till nighttime. Flames burn till the morning. I used to be the one with patience.
Carter, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
You look amazing. I like being on this flight with you. Tell me about where we're going.
Next show, we've got a few dates lined up, so I'm excited to, touch some stages and get these shows running.
Oh yeah, I can see you on stage. You have this amazing voice that I just love. And before we go into your music, I have to talk about your style. Explain your style to me. I love this. What is this?
These are a few custom pieces that were styled, and I love a lot of upcycled looks, something that's high fashion,
Okay.
But still on the sustainable tip. But anything that's just interesting and
Who are
has
your favorite designers though?
Givenchy is definitely up there.
That's a
like
good one.
my top. After that, maybe Louis Vuitton. I love what Pharrell's been doing with it. His last show that he just did, his debut, was
Hot.
phenomenal.
Hot.
Those are my top two right now, for sure. There's
Okay.
a couple others that'll peek out. I love what Ralph Lauren does every now and then.
Oh yeah,
so.
there's some good pieces too. I mean, you just have this amazing look about you, but let's talk about what got you into music, because most people don't know. You're very handsome, you have great style. They don't know that you could sing, and you have this talent of songwriting and composing. Where does that come from?
Of course. Honestly, I'd say the songwriting tip comes from having to read the dictionary as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, my mom would make me read the dictionary as if it was a
Aw.
chapter book, so it was kind of funny. But
What a smart mom.
yeah, love her. But it was just funny. I didn't like it, obviously, growing up, but I
Reading the dictionary.
realized that it expanded my vocabulary enough to really play around with a lot of different word choices and lyrics. So.
I've never heard that. No, but everyone I interview, I've never heard someone say that my mom made me read the dictionary.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you that's amazing, because that also helps you speak and interview well and be articulate.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you do have movie credits. I know you have movie credits. So how'd you get into acting?
Honestly, theater. I did a lot of theater in high school, but where I really started was LA Opera. So when I
Okay,
was
that's
7, that's
impressive.
kind of where the music and acting,
Right.
was born for me, and just the joys of being on a set and rehearsing and getting to play in that space really just lit up.
What age were you when you said, this is what I want to do? I want to sing. What age were you?
I say around 7 or 8. My dad says I probably knew earlier.
Oh yeah.
But I'd say consciously, just knowing that's where I wanted to be, around 7 or 8. There's just nothing like it.
Wow. So when did you write your first song?
11 was when I started writing.
11 years old, really?
Yeah. So when I started writing songs, it was really just because I wanted to hear a story that I wasn't hearing in a lot of the music playing on the radio. Past that, then I was like, okay, this is kind of fun. I get to journal,
Right.
and then there's music to it, so it got really fun. And a year later, I met Stevie, and we kind of.
Stevie is your manager.
My producer and songwriting partner. He's
Okay.
doing some managerial duties right now. But
Wow.
yeah, my producer and songwriting partner for sure, and we write some great stuff together. I love collaborating with
What did you like about Stevie's style? What was it that made you two like just mesh so well together?
Our writing styles are very different. So a lot of what I hear is in a minor key.
Okay.
He'll hear a lot of stuff that's in a major key.
Interesting.
We'll play around with how it combines, and then just lyrically, I tend to take things into almost a melancholy or very introspective place, and he writes amazing love songs, which I wouldn't say is my strong suit, but there's something about the marriage of those two styles between us that just works perfectly.
How would you describe your musical style? Like the genre of music? How would you describe it?
I'd say it's international pop for
Okay.
sure. It's got a lot of different flavors. R&B is definitely in there.
Yeah, I get that from your music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's difficult to put a pin right on it.
know.
I just say pop just because I play around with a lot
Because
of
you're
different sounds.
you're kind of a hybrid of different genres.
Definitely.
Like pop and blues and R&B.
Yeah.
I
I love
mean-
playing with rock as well.
Yes, yes. I was about to say you're just a hybrid of so many genres.
Definitely.
So what is your ultimate goal as a musician? Like where do you see yourself in another, I'd say 3 years? Where do you see yourself?
3 years, definitely touring regularly. I want to play a lot of major festivals. Coachella, Glastonbury is
Oh,
a
I could
big
see
one.
that. I could see you doing that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I love music festivals. Haven't really been to many. I have like
They're
a horror
crazy.
story
They are
with
crazy.
one. But yeah, just touring regularly. I want to work with a lot of other artists, whether it's just as a songwriter or collaborating with them as
Okay.
a featured artist on some of their tracks and
Like
vice
what
versa.
type of artist? Who do you look up to?
That I look up to, I'm not too sure. There's people that are definitely in a lane where I'm like, I'd love to touch that.
Okay.
Ed Sheeran.
Oh, he's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
he
good.
works with everybody, and he doesn't have to change who he is to
Yes.
fit into their world.
He has like his own style, and I like his sound. His sound
Yeah,
is nice.
I love how he's so unapologetic with who he is
Yes,
and
he is.
how he sounds and his music, and it works everywhere.
Yeah.
So he's definitely
Okay.
he's definitely an inspiration.
That's a good one. Anyone old school? Look, he's saying
It's okay. I'm trying to think of like how I want to phrase it, because I could say one artist and you'll be like, oh, that's not old school. Let's see.
Oh, just throw one out there.
Okay, Bobby Caldwell is one.
Okay. That's a good one.
I think obviously Michael Jackson.
Of course, everybody likes
Everybody
Mike.
says Michael Jackson.
Everybody likes Mike.
For him, it's more his work ethic that
Yeah.
I look at. Rather
He was
than
a
like,
perfectionist, really.
yeah, just his
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
attention to detail is what really inspires me, and how he was able to do
And
things.
he would keep practicing over and over and over, and he don't care about how much time it takes.
Just looking at
Repetitive.
like, his older shows, he wouldn't have backing tracks that were like supporting him like a safety
Right.
net. It was just all his lead vocal,
Yep.
and I think that's so lost on a lot of new
And it's so
performers.
rare. It's so rare to find a performer like that.
So-
like he was a very rare talent.
Definitely.
I would say him and maybe the likes of like Mariah Carey and some other people. They're very rare talents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Luther Vandross is another one. Just
Oh, yeah,
his
he's a
live
good one.
ability
Yes.
is like second to none.
He sung
so.
those cover songs, didn't he?
Yeah.
My mom used to play his music. I'm like, Mom, I thought that other artist sung that song. Luther was good at cover music. He
Yeah.
really was, and he would sing it so beautifully.
He'd really make it his own. So I
Interesting.
really, really look up to that.
How do your parents feel about your musical career right now?
Super supportive. It's kind of shocking. You look at my mom being a lawyer and my dad an engineer,
That's
and that's like
crazy.
my whole family. It's either in law or in engineering, and then here I am making music.
There's no bloodline of musicians in your family?
There's a few, but it's like distant family.
Really?
So it's more like cousins and but nothing immediate. But my grandmother did teach dance for a
Okay.
majority of her life, and I guess that's probably where I got a lot of musical inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
So there's countless, vinyl records that she'd have in her collection, and that's how
Vinyl
she
records. Oh my goodness.
would. Yeah, that's
What
how.
type of dance did she teach?
All kinds. She taught my dad tap.
I know how to
and
tap.
then Ballet
Yeah.
was like the big one.
Never did that one.
But yeah.
A little too heavy to do ballet, but I did tap though. Tap was fun.
Yeah. But
Do you dance?
I can, but I've never been like
Hip
properly.
hop, anything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been in a few b-boy groups and stuff like that, but I've never been like fully into the world of dance.
I don't know. I look at your IG and your social media, and you're so active. Like, you do so many athletic things, so I could see you performing on stage as a musician.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of my movements on stage are very big, very athletic movements. I'm airborne a lot.
Yeah, you have the physique to do it. Like, I was looking at your, I'm like, wow, he's very athletic. Like, I can see you really being a performer. Like, when Beyonce gets up there and performs, she performs, right?
Definitely.
I can see you being that performer because you're so athletic and you do so many different things with your body, right? So that's crazy that I just picked that up off your IG pictures.
Yeah, I love being active. A lot of my hobbies are definitely just in fitness and staying
Tell me about
agile.
those hobbies. What are they? Tell me the secrets.
Okay. Like obviously just maintaining a good workout regimen, but outside of that is just like I love climbing, so bouldering is a big one. I'm heavy into like motorsports, so go-kart racing is huge right now.
Fun.
I'd love to get into like cup car racing. That's like up there in the long-term goals.
What is that? Is it called Cup Car?
Yeah, well, there's different series, but ideally I'd love to race in like the North American Porsche Cup.
Okay.
But that's it takes money, a lot of money to do that.
Just a lot of sponsors, right?
Definitely. So
Interesting.
motorsports is a sponsor's game. So definitely something I'd love to
I could
be
see
in.
you doing that. Besides your music and everything you're doing in the entertainment industry.
Anything high octane, if it gets my heart racing, I'm probably gonna look at it.
Do you ever get tired of like traveling and doing things as an artist? Does that ever get old?
It can if it starts to get mundane. I like to do little things to
break away.
Yeah,
I know.
Let it pop a little bit. Traveling just on my own time helps that as well.
Yeah.
Because if you're only traveling for work, it just gets monotonous.
You're preaching to the choir, honey.
So,
I do that a lot.
Yeah, just as solo travel is a huge thing for me. I've just started doing it on my own, so that's been like a really great source of self-discovery for me. Like,
wow,
how can I grow as a person outside of my normal environments?
Does this help you as inspiration as an artist when you meet different people in different cultures?
It all does. I think connection is huge. I mean, that's the basis of our species as
human connection.
As humans. Yeah. So just finding through lines and people that are on the other side of the planet, and you realize, damn, this place is kind of small.
I'll tell you, I went to Africa, and that I had a wake-up call because one, they got the biggest bugs over there I've ever seen, but two, the culture, the food, being in a different environment outside of the United States, I started appreciating everything here, including just drinking like clean water here.
Yeah.
Right. But I loved Africa because people were they weren't superficial. They didn't worry about what you did for a living, who you are, your status. It was all about good food, connecting with family, and being out in nature.
It's a lot of what's valued in a community.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's hard when you're thrust right into like a capitalist, society. It's hard to like just break away from it completely. Like,
it is.
I know for me, like born and raised in Los Angeles, it's always going to be a part of. I'm going to think about the dollar sign.
Yeah, it's in your DNA.
Yeah, it's just there. But I'm lucky that my family raised me in an environment to really value the quality of certain interactions and life as a whole, rather than just make money, be able to do X, Y, and Z. Like,
right.
Money is a tool at the end of the day. It's not the end all.
But you got to look at your parents. Your parents are very successful. So you said your dad's an engineer and your mom's an attorney.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So how was that growing up? Very driven parents. How was that growing up?
It was interesting. I really, really love my parents, and I'm glad that I've been able to get like a front row seat to watch their marriage. They just recently celebrated their 25th anniversary.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And like, I watch them laugh together every day.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's the best thing ever.
I love hearing
so They do a pretty good job at leaving work at work and, you know, coming home and just, you
That's
know,
good.
having our family. Every now and then there's, you know, the lack of separation. COVID
Right.
didn't help that at all.
I know. Oh my goodness. You're so right about that.
So it's funny. Sometimes I'll be like, am I getting attorney mom or am I getting mom?
Speaking
like,
of COVID, did that inspire you, like being home, being quarantined, did that inspire you to write more? Did you get more creative during?
I definitely wrote a lot more. I found that I wrote things in other mediums rather than just music. I did a lot of short story stuff. I picked up drawing again. I don't know, music's always been there. So when you start writing at 11 and now I'm 22, so that's a good chunk of time where it's just, you know, write a melody every day, write a hook every day, you know, write a concept every day. And that's thanks to, you know, Stevie putting me on that. That was, you know, once we started, you know, looking at writing as an actual thing for me, he was like, you know, that's what you got to do. So when we start writing these records, you come with ammunition to these sessions. We're ready to go and locked in. So, you know, years and years of that, I'm like, oh, let's break into something new. But
let's talk about your music. I mean, you just released your, what is it, the latest EP? It's called Reflections. Is that what it's called?
It's the first single of this EP. I've got 4 records on it, and then we're about to start cutting the second EP. But Reflections, the first single. Got Easiest Goodbye coming just after, and then a couple other songs. But
I like Reflections. It's very upbeat, and it's like that feel-good song. You know how Pharrell did Happy?
Yes.
It has that feel-good movement to it. Like, and when you hear it, you just feel good and you want to smile, right?
Yeah, I love just dancing to that. Like, Reflections is good. There's another song on there called Ain't Breakin'. That's another one that just gets you up. So I'm excited for people to hear that one. I think that's going to be
absolutely
a good one.
I know you go deep on your music. You're very visceral, and you like to talk about how your music connects other people. Tell me about that.
I think it's more me taking a hard look at myself and trying to find what's something or what's a part of me that I've almost been running from. And let's put that on blast and see what happens.
Interesting. So you're taking your real life experience and just putting it into your. A lot of artists do that anyway.
Yeah.
But give me an example of one experience that you put into your song.
So with Easiest Goodbye, that's the story of the first like person I dated for a little while. But she broke up with me and I didn't feel anything after that. So I was like, dang, was I really just going through the motions?
Right.
And how many other people may have that?
Oh, all of us can relate. I can relate to that.
Throw on top of that, I was going through like an apathetic spell of my life, which I have another song on the second EP that's dedicated solely, you know, to that experience.
Because you know, if you break up with someone, you know if they're the one, because it would really bother you.
Yeah,
right?
and I remember when it happened, she was on her way to meet my parents and she broke up with me then.
Oh, that's horrible.
Horrible. And she breaks up with me and I'm like, dang, that sucks. And I call up my homie, I'm like, yo, I was gonna go out tonight, you still drinking? And I just kept it pushing, and I realized like a week later, I'm like, I'm still not like feeling any kind of way. Like,
maybe you guys were just meant to be friends.
Yeah, but it's like, even after that, I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, name doesn't come up on my phone. I don't like, it was just odd.
That happens to everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody you know I've been through that.
Yeah.
And when I broke up with someone, and I broke up, I was like, I don't really feel anything. I thought I'd be sad. I was able to move on, but that means that person wasn't meant for me.
Yeah. And it's funny how much, you know, the media that you consume and like the narratives that follow, you know, the love story, you buy into it and you expect to feel these certain things when you watch these breakup scenes. Oh, they're heartbroken, they're torn, all these other things. And I'm here chilling, just trying to, you know, go see a movie. And I'm just thinking, like, there's no way I want to spend that time again to feel nothing at the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. Because your time's so precious.
And that's where that song's coming from. If I'm gonna go through the motions, I want them to mean something.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not about just for show. Like,
that's interesting. Okay. Wow. So let me ask you this: like, when you perform on stage, do you ever get nervous on stage? I know I get nervous sometimes. Do you ever get nervous?
I I don't, but that's because I think I've been up on stage so long.
Is it like good nervousness, or is it that nervousness?
I
where
get
like,
excited.
Okay.
I get excited.
Because you know some artists drink and they do all kind of things backstage to relax,
yeah,
right?
no, I'm ready to go on stage.
Oh, so it's a good nervousness.
Yeah,
Is that adrenaline?
I'm excited. Like I said, I love adrenaline. There's nothing like hitting a stage and then just seeing everybody out there.
Yeah.
But I find it's like, I recently did like my first cold plunge and it was like 38 degrees.
Oh my God, you said cold plunge?
Yeah. And the first 2 minutes of that are excruciating, and then you start to settle and you realize you're like, okay, I can actually handle it. I'm not dying. Hitting a stage is somewhat like that in terms of like just the rush that you get.
It is.
You can hit the stage and some nights you can be like, I'm on right away. Like I'm good. There's no warming up to it. I'm hitting it. And some nights you hit it.
And some nights the mics are messing up. The sound will sound good.
Yeah, and it throws you a little bit.
It
and
does.
you're like, am I good? Am I good here? But yeah, I love getting on stage. I love performing. I don't really get nervous there. I find that I don't really like to obsess about the what if. So staying present helps me do that.
Okay.
So if I haven't touched the stage yet, I'm not going to worry about the performance.
Do you meditate? I know some artists meditate before they perform. Do you meditate or do anything to get you
Yeah.
like ready and
my
relaxed?
pre-show ritual, I have a playlist on Spotify that I'll go through, and that's just like pump me up music. I'll usually jump rope to it or do some jumping jacks.
Pump me up. I like that.
Yeah, like I'm anything with a hard cadence that I can just jump to. I'll do that. That's a bit of my meditation, and then you know, hit a good prayer before. But I do meditate just in you know, my day to day. It's usually like right when I wake up. But I feel like that's a good way to start.
Do you have any siblings? Do they look up to you? What you do?
I hope he looks up to me. I've got I've got one little brother. He's 8.5 years younger than me, so he's just turned 14.
So he's a young teenager.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So moody and all that. But, no, he's fun. I'm watching him grow into his own little person, and it's kind of funny because I remember like seeing him come into the world, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like I have my own little brother now. Like this is wild. I'm gonna be his best friend, and then he, you know.
Does he copy you? Like he sees you sing and write music. Does he copy you?
He's very, very musically inclined. So I don't know if it's that he looked at me and saw that I was doing something and wanted to do it, just because there's been so much distance between where he is and where I was when I was his age. But there's definitely similarities.
I'm sure he's watching you. Younger brothers love watching the older brothers. They want to mimic.
Yeah. So I know like he plays the same instrument. I did marching band in high school my freshman year, and he's now in freshman year of high school. Plays the same instrument.
And what instrument was that?
I played the mellophone, which is like
mellophone, really?
Yeah, it's like a.
I thought you were gonna say like the trumpet or the violin.
I've played the trumpet, but I played French horn in middle school, and so that's the instrument that transfers when you're marching.
Right.
But I don't know, marching band wasn't really my thing. That's when I switched to theater after I was like, let me get into something.
I could see you doing marching band, but it's not your passion.
No,
right?
like I did it for 1 year, and I was like, I'm out. This ain't my cup of tea.
What are you and your manager Stevie working on next? What's the big thing you're working on next?
This next EP is the next one. We just finished writing the next 4 songs, so that's definitely a really good mix.
What about music videos? Are you guys working on any music videos coming up?
I'm finishing up editing the music video for Reflections.
Okay.
And then I've got some visualizers coming. Still shooting the one for Easiest Goodbye, so that's the next single that's coming out. But Reflections is going to be a really, really nice
that's a
video.
feel-good song. Like I said, it reminds me of like Pharrell's Happy. Like when you hear it, you just smile and you want to sing along with you, right?
Yeah.
So
that's it. That music video touches a lot on the lyrical side of the video.
It does.
The colors really match the vibe, but what's on screen matches the lyrics.
True.
So I'm excited for people to see that.
Nice. I can actually see you modeling, doing a cover of a magazine pretty soon. Have you thought about that?
I'd love to. I would absolutely love to.
Yeah, you have that style. You have that look.
My room, I've got like 9 GQ magazines.
Okay.
Just posted up there, and it's all covers that I saw in my eyes as iconic. Just how the people on those covers got to where they are, and you know the story behind them. I've got
The
those on my
story
wall.
behind the glory, right?
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
I know I've got Trevor Noah on there, I've got Mahershala Ali on there, Harrison Ford, John Boyega is up
iconic
on my
covers.
wall.
Okay.
The Rock is up there.
The Rock?
Chance the Rapper, Diddy. Like I've got some of the legends up there. So
Nice.
I'm
So you're putting that energy out there.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, I've got my whole wall. I've got like a manifestation board as well. So.
Manifestation board. I like that.
Yeah, I
like
painted
that.
I painted one wall in my room with chalkboard paint, and then just put up all my like goals and manifestations.
Oh, that's a good idea, actually. I should tell my sons. I have 2 sons. I should tell them to do that.
Yeah.
You just paint it black. And you just take chalk and just.
Well,
run.
there's like specific chalkboard paint, so I got
Okay.
that just because like if you just paint it black and then you put the marker up there, that's not
It doesn't work.
It's not coming.
But it has
back.
to be chalkboard paint.
Yeah, there's specific chalkboard paint because you can then erase it. But
Interesting. I gotta look into that.
Yeah.
My kids would like that.
it's the first thing I see in the morning. So if I'm ever like, oh man, I'm not really feeling motivated, right in my face. It's like,
And then you
no,
just see
you
that.
promised yourself that you were going to do this. So get to it. Find the steps that you got to take, and you'll get there.
So Carter, I think we covered a lot, but one thing I want to know is because you started working so young. You said 11 or 12? Now, I always ask people this. When you start that age, where did you develop that work ethic?
I'm Jamaican.
Jamaican, I can see that.
Yeah, no, they're like it's funny. So I was very close with my grandfather. He's from St. Mary's Parish, and his main thing was just work ethic, work ethic, work ethic.
Yeah.
And obviously that transferred down to my dad. Dad gave it to me,
Right.
and it's there. My mom's side of the family is exactly the same way. It's just work ethic is everything. You can accomplish a lot when you put your mind to it.
That's true.
So I found that I was never painted the picture that giving up was a viable option.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It was just like, well, you chose to do this. That's the goal.
Right.
Here are the options to get there.
Right.
And when you're that young, you're generally not so aware of the surroundings where you go, well, I could just go out the exit.
Right.
You're just like, well, here's the options that's been given to me. So I look at it like my parents knew what they were doing with like, you can do this option or you can do this option. But regardless of the options that I took, I was gonna go forward.
But you had positive guidance of having very successful parents, though.
Definitely.
What would you say to an artist that doesn't have that positive influence by their parents? What would you say to them?
Find the people that have the qualities that inspire you.
Tell me about your work ethic. What is a typical day like when you're producing music or writing a song or you're recording music? Tell me about that day. What is a typical work ethic for you?
Usually days start around 5:30 or 6.
Ooh, that's early.
So workout, that's usually about 2 hours. Let's say like Monday, for example, is usually leg days. So
You said leg days?
yeah.
Okay.
So that's usually that. But it's also like heavy cardio. So I'll usually do 15 to 20 miles on the bike.
Wow.
And that cardio is to help support being,
Your diaphragm, right?
active on
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
So that's usually my morning. That'll usually take me to about like 7 or 8. After that, I'm usually just kind of chilling for a little bit, make sure I'm eating, because I will forget to eat.
Yeah, I know. That used to be me.
I'll just be like, oh, I put this on my calendar. I'm
Right.
gonna do it. So yeah, make sure I eat. Usually write out a few other ideas just for some new songs. I started a podcast with one of my best friends, so I'm usually going through
Okay.
and making
like
sure
podcasts.
making sure there's some new
Okay.
ideas that we're cooking up. Then if I'm not writing with Stevie, we're usually going to a rehearsal, so that's usually about 2 hours, 2.5 hours that we've got there. But
Okay.
sometimes we'll do double headers where we'll, have like a 4 or 5 hour writing session and then jump into a rehearsal after that.
Wow.
So those days are always fun. They're challenging. It requires me to dig pretty deep once I
Right.
get to the rehearsal, but that's generally what the days will look like. I schedule my free time so I can like make sure I go and hang out with some friends, but free time is very, very important to me. I love having nothing days as well.
You have to have that. Because
Yeah.
if you go, it's just you'll break down, right?
definitely.
Because tell me about nobody knows this, but you've done a lot on Reflections. You you direct, you created the video. I mean, the whole concept was your idea, right?
Yeah. It's funny. Some videos just come to you, some ideas, and others you really have to like dig deep for them.
Correct.
When I was looking at the lyrics of the song, I kind of just saw the video there, and I knew, okay, I have to make this happen. I'm going to be the one directing it, and I need to have the right team behind me for this. So, you know, anything in the arts is a collaborative effort.
Okay.
So I had a fantastic team helping me put the entire video together.
Tell me about the concept though, because it's a really I love the whole feel good.
It's interesting because the song is very feel good. The lyrics have, like I was saying before, just like a little bit of that melancholy like through line, and the video touches on that.
Yeah.
But it's more of like a visual poem.
Okay, I can see that.
There's not like a narrative storyline. It's really laying on visuals and color themes. So if you look at even the cover art of the song for Reflections, it's a lot of blues, pinks, some light greens, and all of those colors have different emotions or feelings or stories attached to them for me. And I wanted to have that as a congruent pattern in the video.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Now you're explaining it. Now I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I can conceptualize what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Because that kind of reminds me. Remember that artist that came out? What was her name? Was it Lorde when she came out with Royals?
Yes.
I didn't even know who she was, but I love that song because it's almost like a poem when she sings it, right?
Yeah.
She's telling a story. I was like that, and then it became a big hit. Everybody in the U.S. loved that song.
Yeah, she's great, amazing vocalist, and I love what she does lyrically. There's something about having lyrics that aren't so literal.
Correct.
That makes it fit so much better for anyone listening. Somebody can make it their own. Because once I publish a song, like yes, I made it, but someone's gonna make it their own, and I love that about any medium.
Who are your favorite songwriters? Let's talk about that. There's some talented songwriters.
There are. Right now, I've been like on a huge Phineas kick.
Okay.
I think lyrically what he does is really interesting, and the way
it's different. It's eclectic.
Yeah. And he pairs it really well just with his melodies. He's up there. Pharrell is really good. Pusha T as well. Yes. I think he's got the sauce.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Who else? I think Samara Joy is really cool.
Okay.
Definitely different from the other artists.
Yes, I know. I was about to say
I just mentioned.
Polar opposite.
I don't know. Those are the inspirations lyrically, melodically, and just in terms of just like the vibes overall. I've been listening to a lot of Sydney Bechet.
Okay.
So I think that's probably where like the inner band kid from like my middle school and like freshman year of high school kicks in. I'm just geeking out about somebody playing clarinet.
The clarinet. It's funny.
But yeah, his music's really
yeah, it is.
Really
it is amazing. Do you listen to like any type of classical music? You like classical?
Definitely. I think it's very like
all over the place.
Yeah. I don't listen to it every day.
Well,
it's not like a,
but some artists like Jay-Z and Tupac will get inspired by classical music, right? And Mozart, Beethoven, things like that, because you could hear that in some of their music.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But I've really been influenced by like a lot of like the modern, jazz.
Okay.
Music that's been out. I've loved a lot of what John Baptiste has done in the last few years. His latest album was awesome. Obviously we are, Grammy winning, but I love his music. His lyrics are really good as well.
If someone were to run into you after we get off this plane and say, what is your style? How would you explain your style in a sentence? Because you do so many things.
Yeah.
How would you explain your style as an artist? What would you say?
Musically or?
Musically. What is your elevator pitch? Like, what would you say to somebody?
I'd say it's familiar,
Okay.
entrancing, makes you want to move, makes you want to think.
I like that because that's descriptive of some of the music I've heard that you sing so far. Yeah.
Definitely
Those
makes you
are
want to
good.
move, makes you
Yeah,
want to
those
think.
are good words. Yeah, I love that.
Just like any great art piece, I hope that my music is able to grow with people. Like my favorite movie on the planet is Fantastic Mr. Fox. But
That's funny.
I've watched that kid from October 2009 when it came out through to today. I still have the first DVD that I got.
That's funny. Okay.
And as I've grown up, I've found different motifs in the film that apply to myself in that moment. So like
Okay.
when I was younger, I really, really was just like, Ash is me. Like I'm that kid, I'm him. And then I'd find myself like, damn, I feel like the rat right now. And then other days I'm like, yeah, I'm Mr. Fox. But you know, anybody wants to be George Clooney. So.
I was checking out your social media, and you kind of integrate, I would say, virtual reality into reality and some stuff that I sing. Was that what I was looking at, or a cartoon? What was I looking at?
I know I did. I had one of my good friends do an animated lyric video for Reflections, and that same thing, pulling on the colors there.
But I think with your style of music, I'm not a director by any means, but I think you can kind of run with that whole reality transition into virtual reality, going back and forth in the music video with your sound and make it look good, and you stand out, and that be part of your style. I think that would look good.
Yeah, definitely got to give that one.
Yeah. So if you guys do it, give me some credit.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate your time. And Carter, I want you to tell everyone, if they want to find you, where can they find you? On the social media platforms, digital streaming platforms, you name it, just look right over there and let them know.
All right. If you're trying to find me, Instagram, @CarterSkyers, YouTube, Carter Skyers Official Music, TikTok is @CarterSkyers. If you put my first and last name in any search bar, you'll find me. It's pretty congruent across the board. But yeah, come say hi. I like to be friendly.
Thank you so much. You guys, you heard it from Carter Skyers himself. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Angela.
Let's go have some wine. Let's have some
do
fun.
it. Let's do it.
Have a great night.